good to see you. Oh, yeah, well, hey, what's going on here? Good to see you. Monday night, 29th of September, 2025. That locks in and seals that time capsule for the Sensory broadcast. Welcome to you all. One of the peak eras of Doctor Who was the mid-70s and the former producer's run, good old Philip Hinchcliffe. And he made a few insightful points at the BFI recently on South Bank while he was doing the launch for the season 13 Blu-ray launch event. So these are the headlines for tonight's show. I know you know I like to be organised. Hinchcliffe, when Doctor Who went too far under his era. We'll have a look at that. Hinchcliffe, Doctor Who needs 100 minutes to save it. Mark Gatiss on Hinchcliffe and the source on Darker Who. Thought that might be a nice tasty one for everybody. Now, who have I got on board to talk about this? I have so many panellists. You think, gosh, who could it be tonight? Well, he hasn't been on for a little while and you all love him. Here he is.
Captain Sunny Waffles, howdy, what's going on, chat? I can't wait. Brendan got me, I got my cast of characters here. Brendan got me on the Doctor Who brain. We were almost late because I was yapping his ear off about the Doctor Who and my new friend, Matrix Lord. Shout out, friend of my channel.
Oh, he's a friend of mine as well. No, but anyway, so yes, they're the headlines tonight. We'll get into them as soon as we can. So here we go. There's good old Philip Hinchcliffe. He's hit 80 now. It frightens me to death, I have to say. So yes, he was at the BFI. You know, it's this event in England, Sonny, where basically it seems to be all the people who live in London, Doctor Who fans, go. You see the same people every time. Us lot living elsewhere in the country never get a look in. I think the tickets go fast. But anyway, this was a good one. Season 13 Blu-ray launch. And then you get a lot of the actors from it. There it is. That's what it looked like.
Beautiful costume. I love that hat, by the way.
I know. Well, Terror of the Zygons is just kind of whoa, you know. Neil Cole was there, who has the classical science fiction museum up here, and he was restoring the Scarrison. So lots of the things were discussed. So here's the first item, Sunny and Thread, and I will definitely talk to the Thread in a second. So Hinchcliffe, Doctor Who needs 100 minutes. What's he talking about? Well, it was summarised first saying he thinks every TV drama needs about 100 minutes, 4 times 25 if you're talking Doctor Who. He thinks that's a very good time for a movie or a television story to be told in 100 minutes. Now, I'll just show you a little bit more because he did go into an awful lot of detail. I'll go bigger on this one just so you can see everybody. And I'll take my little kind of frame off so you can see. Right. That gives you room to introduce characters, to unravel an exciting event of the story, the mystery and what's going wrong. And you've got the time to get to know the characters, to invest emotionally with the characters, not just the heroes. And there can be plot reversals and suspense. It doesn't have to be action all the time. Made me think, I mean, you can take this discussion in so many different ways, Sonny, but basically we haven't had that for so long. And it just feels as though the time is right to say, look, New Who, the 45-minute experiment is dead.
Dead's a harsh word, but I was saying the first thing I said on this channel when I came on here, bring back the classic format. I enjoyed it. I've always said it felt like a movie, and this is the perfect length, like he was saying. I got that feeling with Capaldi when season 9 and season 10, honestly. They were doing a lot more trilogies, and that 45-minute format kind of filled that space out for me. I was able to get invested to Nardell, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and I'll show everybody the stories under the Philip Hinchcliffe era, and we can actually start to say where it seems so watertight. So, for example, Sonny, The Deadly Assassin, a tight, quite adult 4-parter. You had, I mean, I kind of liked Engin and, you know, the Chancellor, and I like Chancellor Goth. You got to see a whole team, didn't you? It wasn't just the Doctor and Millie Gibson or something. It was, you got to know some interesting characters. And I really liked that bit with the Matrix all the time. I don't mean the adventure. I mean, when he was going into the Matrix and those two guys were talking to him all the time, doing the investigation. And a longer Doctor Who allows that.
I've only seen clips of it, but I do like it when we get those. You get the cast of characters, right, and then when the deaths happen, it actually matters because you get the banter between them, and you actually understand that they're people. So it plays into the movie format. I haven't seen The Deadly Assassin though. It's
Well,
I don't know.
if you think of that Tom Baker Hinchcliffe era, you go from Robot, Ark in Space, Revenge of
Arkansas
the
State.
Cybermen, go all the way through Terror of the Zygons, Android Invasion. I mean, honestly, so many of them are so tight, but you get that beautiful kind of subordinate characters all have a little moment, and you actually feel for them, and there's more of a story, and that
Limited settings. The limited settings, like on Ark in Space, it going into the just the one area on Earth that they were going into for the next story too. I like it when the settings are tighter. The Base Under Siege stories are my favorite, so
yeah.
I think that also helps.
Well, you can see Tom Boychik, obviously Hinchcliffe, he needs a cliffhanger. I am mad on cliffhangers, Mad Mackham. I would happily say
Pretty
goodbye
cool.
to all of New Who. The good and the bad need to be cauterized from my brain. Well, it's going to be mostly Tom Baker tonight, you'll be pleased to know. We're not going to be talking about that shooty Gatwa news. I talked to the source about that. He said it's crap. So all of you lot who are talking about whatever another streamer said tonight, my source, a British source, about a British programme, said not the bit about banning shooties a bit. No. The rest, I've already said on my channel, all the rest. I mean, there was nothing new there. So let's have a look at the second bit as well. To try and tell an interesting story in 50 minutes is very difficult. I would want it to be of that length, 100 minutes, because if you're watching something, you want to invest in the supporting characters, not just the Doctor. It gives you room to tell a story so that would be my main point that I think Doctor Who would benefit from. We've been saying this for ages, Sonny.
Literally. There's no character you actually care about in the RTD2 era. They say they care about I can't even remember the first girl's name. I hate Belinda. I mean, that stands clear. Worst
Poppy,
character on the earth.
Poppy, I want my Poppy. Where's Poppy? Weren't
Just
you bothered
random
about
yelling.
Poppy?
How about be bothered about a script? Like, I don't know. There's Conrad, right? But like in the Capaldi era, even Bill, by the end, I cared about Bill because he got turned into a Cyberman. There's actual plot relevance, and that's something I really want to talk about, plot relevance when it comes to cliffhangers too. So let me stop
Yeah,
there.
and yeah, doing my cliffhanger show, there's always a dud. There's always one that it's because of timing or something. If anyone hasn't seen the Saturday live show with 14 cliffhangers, one was docked later because YouTube likes to play silly devils. But yes, we had the battle of the cliffhangers, and of course that's the spirit and the DNA of Doctor Who.
Exactly.
And isn't it funny? An 80-year-old Philip Hinchcliffe, he knows when TV has changed. He knows, yes, there was a time. I mean, let's face it, they experimented with Resurrection of the Daleks with 245s because it was the Winter Olympics on the TV, so they squashed it. Then with Colin Baker, we had the 45-minute episodes, and that seemed to be. By the way, Sonny, when Colin Baker's era experimented with the 45 minutes, there tended to be two parts. So you still got 90 minutes. Whereas in New Who, much shorter. You're only getting 45 minutes. We still need time for a fourth wall break, a few laughs, a bit of love.
New Who has a lot of forgettable characters. Like I still remember Mark of the Ronnie, right? And one of the best cliffhangers, by the way, Mark of the Ronnie.
Yeah, when he's going, way.
Yeah, but I just like the part that it stopped. It could have ended when the Master showed up. You're like, whoa, what a cliffhanger. I can't wait to see the Master next episode. But no, we had to push the Doctor. No, we had to catch him. And then we had to push the TARDIS. Oh my gosh, it was just peak cliffhanger.
I've got Farsight. Farsight keeps reminding me that secretly he's a closet lover of Stolen Earth. I know he is. He'll be on to Cliffhanger show when we get sorted. Graham, I far prefer the leisurely, slow build-up so we get to know and care about the characters. Number one, yes, you care for them. You have sympathy for them. That's the whole blooming point. And then when they all die in horror fan rock, you can go, oh, what a shame. Mind you wanted to slap that woman. Stop screaming. Be more like Leela. But yeah, the build-up. I loved that kind of episode 1 of Classic Who, you have about 10, 12 minutes of just getting to know the world and whoever these characters are and where is the Doctor stuck. And then you're starting to keep your eye on the clock because you're thinking, oh, the cliffhanger will come. What issue? What's going to happen? Are you going to see a hand? Is somebody going to grab him? Are they going to fall down a pit? What's going to happen? And you could hear the rhythm of the music. You could tell from the pitch of the scenes that we were building. And I think Doctor Who, in its essence, needs that.
A score is a very big part of it. Music helps elevate, but it can't do everything. Gold proved that.
I almost wonder whether RTD it was admitting, and then followed by Moffat and everybody else, admitting that they're not great story writers like Terry Nation, Terence Dicks, Robert Holmes, Malcolm Hulke. Because in that era, they knew how to tell a yarn. People might joke about Terry Nation will have us going up a mountain, I'll cross a ledge, then we'll go down, then there'll be a countdown. But he knew how to stretch out a storyline into an adventure and a romp, as an example. Malcolm Hulke knew that we had sympathy with both sides and we'd work into that world. Whereas in 45 minutes, here's Unit, I fancy her. She's 16, she's on a YTS scheme. She's looking for shoplifting in Catford. That's your story. It's ridiculous. I want them all dead. Sutek, deal with them.
It's ADD brain problem sometimes because they want to be superficial. They just throw your points up there. Let's get on to the next story. But yeah, the episode 1, meeting your people, and then you're like, well, I can't wait to see what this guy does in episode 2. Somebody else might connect with another character. I can't wait to see what that girl does in episode 2. Right. And you lose that buildup when you just go on to the next story. So I'm all part of the 2-parters, man. That's why Capaldi's peak.
Yeah. Graham here, where is New Who's one-off characters like Tobias Vaughan, Harrison Chase, the Warlord? Villains that really Oh, Graham, how unfair. We had the Rani.
Yeah.
Mrs.
Well,
Flood.
old Ronnie. Old Ronnie, but Conrad.
We had Omega.
Oh,
God.
Yeah, dude, New Who characters are so forgettable. That's the worst part about them.
Well, me and you both, Ian Scales, Terry Nation, he told a yarn. People get scoffy about it. I'd have a Terry Nation story now any day. He can repeat himself in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Because what's New Who? It's just a repeat of soap opera froth.
I mean, RTD is just repeating his old stories that he was doing anyway. That's why Matrix Lord was telling me that they were going to do the body swap because he did it in Sarah Jane Adventures when I guess the Doctor died in that story. So like he thought he was just going to keep recycling plots. I mean, if you're going to recycle plots, at least do it well again, you know.
Sonny, what's the essence of New Who in a plot? I know we all joke about the reset button, but the other thing they always do is, Sonny, you're only one human being, but you can save the cosmos if you just believe in me. You know, it's like, oh, go away. That's not sci-fi. That's twaddle.
100%. That only really started with Jodie. I feel like New Who before that, he genuinely just wanted to explore the universe and like look at cool different things. And we kind of was doing that, you know, but I don't know.
Jess,
you're not wrong.
Good to see you, Jess. So we are talking about storytelling, right? And for me, that is a given, a proven given. Storytelling. When does that come back? I agree, Jess. Yeah.
That's what we're trying to get to.
Yeah, and that's basically, in essence, what Philip Hinchcliffe is saying in these 2 paragraphs, where he's trying to be diplomatic, I know, but he's basically saying, and you know, I don't know what dramas you watch in America, but if I said to the British audience, Morse, now it's not on now, but it's a 2-hour show, Vera, 2-hour show, I could go on, but I'm sure you have similar in America, where about 2 hours, so 100 minutes through to the 120 and you've got a good evening piece of entertainment.
I'm pretty bad at it. I couldn't even give you an example. There are shows like that got popular with Game of Thrones, Call Saul, like connecting to Breaking Bad, which was about they kind of did an hour chunks, but we're getting to that more in streaming. But honestly, I'm pretty bad at it. TV's really dead in America. Nobody really talks about big dramas like that.
Yeah, that's why I've got 2,000 people watching tonight. Oh no, I haven't. Somebody else. No, no. Oh God. So yeah, an exciting story with a kind of subterranean level of characters who are just interesting for those 3 or 4 weeks they're on. Um, and of course, you can't just rely on it. You see, this is the thing. You who made Doctor Who Space Jesus and Superhero, and all the characters underneath became gimmicks, emblems, tokens. Whereas Classic Who, they were rounded, well-rounded characters. We all know Iago and Lightfoot, for example. Jago and Lightfoot. You know, come on. You wouldn't get Jago and Lightfoot now. All you'd get is Jago saying, I think I'm a bit gay. Or Lightfoot saying, hey, well, I must improve my quota of who I appoint in the mortuary. It wouldn't be...
I'll push back a little bit. We got a lot of environmental messages that I thought they handled very base, because the Doctor would just ignore them. He'll be like, look, the Earth will be there in a million years. I was there in a million years. I've been there. In the future, it's be there. So he'll just brush over them, but they'll be there. Tegan's kind of one-dimensional from everything I've seen of her. Nissa's kind of one-dimensional from everything I've seen of her, but now I'm just hating on the fifth Doctor, so...
Well, Jess, it's time for a few home truths. It disgusts me to what's happened to Doctor Who in season 1 and 2. Jess, if you think about it, a few months ago, some Doctor Who channels and streamers and people on Twitter were saying, Doctor Who's very alive, very well, and you lot are just the notwees. Where have they all gone? Because it's dead.
I was told they had videos in the works, Brendan, just like how RTD has scripts in the works up to season 7. I was told the exact same thing.
Yes, that Disney's still in the loop. I mean, my source, I mean, remember, I was just a normal pleb, and then suddenly this source gets talking to me and started saying, no, Disney went ages ago, and, you know, but then you still have other people saying, Disney's still in the room. Disney's made the flask for RTD. RTD's still there, and you're going, is somebody... Anyway, American streamers I do find funny sometimes because it's a British show. You would have thought the network of British fans, somebody knows something, and if we knew it, we'd declare it. Whereas somehow the Americans seem to think they know more than what's going on here. Seems a bit fishy to me.
They're talking to us. RTD's talking to us, not the Brits.
Yeah, how weird. I mean, gosh, who would have thought? So yes, there you go. Philip Hinchcliffe, good on you. You're making a lot of sense. And of course, just as a reminder, that RTD in 2005 changed it to a 44-minute self-contained episode format. It was all to do with the fact that we wanted to go in line with the American hour-long dramas, where it's basically 42 minutes of content with the rest for ad breaks. And he thought that it was the way of the world. The trouble is, when you go on any streaming platform now, people binge watch. And if you did do cliffhangers and you did do it episodic, they will just eat it alive. If you decide to do tatty 45-minute, cheap and nasty, superficial stories, you probably won't find they won't binge watch.
Why are you blaming America? They did it wrong. They didn't even copy it right. You're supposed to actually build off of what you said the episode before. It's like, so if you do that and then you tell a whole story, you can do 8 episodes and they all connect. What are you talking? They didn't do it that. So
yeah, in Britain we blame America, and because you're my American on this channel, it's your fault. There you go. Because they were trying to please you lot, they've wrecked our show. No,
I've still never bought a Doctor Who shirt.
No. Have you noticed I haven't done any merchandise yet for the Sense For You? Sense For You undies. I haven't done anything. The Who Pets don't do any specials. It's all knockoff now.
We can get a plush. A Chinese plush.
So there you go, folks. That was, now, Philip Hinchcliffe has more to say, as well as we do. So let's just have a pregnant pause for a second.
Oh, yeah. I understand you've lost a couple of scientists. Oh, no.
What's wrong? It's Gooch. It's Gooch.
Look for yourself.
Bush must have left in quite a hurry.
Yes. Yes, he must.
Disgusting lavatorial humor there.
That's my favorite master. I just wanted to point that over the new Who Wants To. That's the best one, Delgado.
I know what you mean. Now, here is... right, here's my challenge to the thread and to Sonny. If you look at that list of stories under the Philip Hinchcliffe production era, can you honestly say there's another era of Doctor Who that was any more consistent than this? I mean, look at that. From Mark in Space to Talons of Wen Chian. You know, you're trying to spot a dud, and I really am. Now, you know me personally, I will say the Android Invasion I felt dropped a bit. Hand of Fear had a great iconography, but I felt I was a bit... It was a little bit flatter for me.
I was watching Brain of Morbius maybe 2 weeks ago on YouTube, and the only reason I kept watching was because I was talking in the chat, and I was talking to Peter Venkman and a bunch of other people. So I don't remember a single cliffhanger from the Brain of Morbius, so I'm gonna throw that one out there.
So as everybody's delighting in thinking, oh my God, that era that Philip Hinchcliffe is in charge of, where's the dud? Where's the rubbish story? Where's the rushed one? That tells me consistency, that there was an awful lot of work going on in the background between him and Robert Holmes, planning, thinking, being bothered, being proud of the product, caring for the product. And may I just say, Philip Hinchcliffe got the TV production gig in 74, aged 29. 29 years old. He was hungry. He would take risks. That's basically why he ended up getting a bit of the heave-ho, because the BBC couldn't cope with the complaints. But I'm sorry, but I personally will say this was the golden era of Doctor Who. Please tell me, anybody, if I've got it wrong. Sonny?
No, I won't say any of these stories are bad. I'm reading the stories and I'm like, I can't really crap on any of the stories. The cliffhangers in Brain of Morbius wasn't the best, but that's the worst I can say, which isn't... That's pretty good.
As Jess says here, we of course need not forget research, ideas, thought processes, turn all this into writing. So overall, one page can actually be truthfully days of work, if not weeks. The thing is, Jess, come on, we know RTD gives the impression this was all done in a rush job now, compared to this era, when of course RTD is just in Swansea typing away. Oh, you know, there's another script.
He brags about how fast he can do them, yeah.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Philip Hinchcliffe is probably sat down having a cup of tea with Robert Holmes saying, right, are we going to really go down this Hammer House of Horror season? Now, what we're going to do, and you talk about it and you push back on certain things and you have a creative tension and process. That I've not heard any evidence of that in this era of Doctor Who under RTD at all. It was like an authoritarian regime.
You don't remember the spoon?
Oh, well, that was a key plot device.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They thought long and hard about that. That must have took at least a week.
Yeah, that wasn't sprinkled across the season like a little Easter egg, and then you went, ah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there was just some woman. The whole of the universe was falling apart because Sutekh was so powerful, and then she's on some planet which hasn't been disintegrated yet, and she's sorting out a spoon cupboard. I mean, what the hell was...
Yeah.
Who cares? So, yes. Peter Gartner, you can do old Who content in the new Who time of 45 minutes if you keep to the old Who sci-fi content. Don't we all want to go back to 25 minutes, though? Or 30 minutes? 30 minutes, something like that. Graham, I absolutely love all of these stories. I mean, we can rank order them, of course we can, but come on. If you look at any other era, if I said to you, Devil's Cards, Space Babies, and Boom, you'd all be looking at me funny already. But if I said to you, Ark in Space, Sontaran Experiment, Genesis of the Daleks, you know, sometimes Sontaran Experiment gets the heave-ho saying that's the weaker one. You go, what the hell?
You even have to struggle in Classic Who to find a better season. Maybe Pertwee season 8. Maybe compares to this, but it's a little shorter, I guess.
Well, John goes happy. Look at that quality. It's undeniable. It's undeniable. And you know what? You know, you can maybe with 2005 to 2010, when RTD went from basically Rose to, you know, the end of time and stuff. you know where the dips were, but here you've got Ark in Space through to Talons of Wen Chian, and you could argue it got better. You had the last 10 episodes of his era, Robots of Death and Talons of Wen Chian. I mean, those are just a pleasure to watch forever and a day.
I'm not there yet. I'm enjoying my golden era. I've seen maybe 5 of these full episodes, so I'm not there yet.
Are we then? Some of us old cruds want to know this.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
So take us through. Which ones do you know out of this amazing
I know.
list?
I've seen Ark in Space, Centauri Experiment, Genesis of the Daleks. I might have even seen Revenge of the Cybermen, but I don't remember it. Pyramid of Mars. I don't remember off the top of my head. I've seen Pyramid of Mars. I've seen Brain of Morbius. I might have seen part of Seeds of Doom. I've seen the Hands of Fear. I seen the Hand of Fear. That's the one where Sarah Jane gets controlled by the little hand thing, and then it's
she's dressed as Andy Pandy. Yeah,
I seen the Hand of Fear. That one was kind of weak. Like that's probably the weakest one of this era if there's gonna be anything. And that one, it still told a story. It paced itself. I got invested by the hand lady by the end. Once it became a person, I was like, oh, that's what we're doing. It almost lost me. Like I almost quit by episode 2. But then I finished it out. So like I finished it in one go. So it's a good story, is what I'm saying. But other than I think that's the last one I've seen actually. So I don't even think I've seen Deadly Assassin. I might have. Have
you seen Seeds of Doom? You said a little bit.
I might have seen like a still or something from Seeds of Doom, or maybe a scene. I don't remember what it was about.
Oh my god, it's body horror.
And I probably haven't seen it.
And the first
I'm not a horror guy.
But I know it's Doctor Who horror. I mean, you'll live. But the first 2 episodes are down on the South Pole, and then we jump to a 4-parter back in Britain in a mansion. You know, classic Doctor Who. You needed a mansion, and it was a mansion under siege. And then you have the body horror element, and there's an amazing moment. Everybody in the thread knows this, don't they? The moment when Sarah Jane's hand is tied down and the pod is about to open, and Keeler, and oh my god, you're gonna have to watch that.
What was there? Wait, I think I'm thinking of Brain of Morbius. Yeah, okay, I'll put Seeds of Doom next on the list. I'll just watch that next. I just jump around with Tom Baker because like I've already seen all of East Space. I love that.
Nobody will tell you not to. This is the great era. Have you ordered your season 13?
Yeah. I've seen all of season 13 and I've seen him regenerate. Like I've watched his entire era backwards for some reason. Don't ask me why.
Don't ask you why. I mean, you had the spaghetti hula hoop people. They were always good entertainment.
Right.
Planet of Evil. I mean, we all go on about that jungle, but that was a great story as well. Of course.
That story looks like a better version of the first Doctor one. What is the Wet Planet? It looks. I don't know.
Did everyone in the thread hear him there? He compared. He compared Hinchcliffe's story to the Web Planet.
That's kind of what it looks like. Looks like a better version.
There you go. There's Seeds of Doom. Oh, it's absolutely it's great. And that lad, the one who died, he just lost weight very fast. Look at that. It's really sad. It's sad. It's wasted away. Stopped eating burgers. And then good old Sutek saying nobody's tickling my bum anymore. I'm free. And then Android and Vision. I like the crowds, but the story just seemed a bit samey to Terror of the Zygons. So there you go. This was the event. And I wanted to show you this because this was even before you were born. In 1976 in Britain on Saturday night, when it was peak Philip Hinchcliffe, everybody in the thread, look at this. After the BBC News, you had The Wonderful World of Disney with all the Disney clips. Then you had Doctor Who, The Mask of Mandragora for 25 minutes. Then you had Bruce Forsyth and the Generation Game. Oh, that was a good laugh in England, you know, Sonny. Then you had The Duchess of Duke Street, which is a historical drama. Then you had the 2 Ronnies, 2 really brilliant comedy actors. Then you had Starsky and Hutch, America. And then you had the news, match of the day, and then our big chat show host, Parkinson. And that was when Philip Hinchcliffe was giving us Mask of Mandragora, Ark in Space, all these stories, that lineup. I mean, I could just, give me a time machine. I want to go back.
Yeah, it's what is it? Sometimes you're as good as the people around you. That's why successful people surround themselves with more successful people. There's a bunch of hit things coming on before, right? You had a big audience that he needs to keep, the news, and then after he has to send them to all of these hit shows again. So you want to keep that audience retention going. So it made him level up.
I mean, and to be honest, Doctor Who was probably one of the weak links in that night.
Yeah, I was like looking at this. The Doctor Who's probably the second worst.
I think everybody
thing on
understands
here, right?
what I mean by that. I mean, I'm not saying it was the dud. It was such strong Saturday night entertainment in the 70s on BBC that Doctor Who just conveniently just picked there. If it wasn't Wonderful World of Disney, we had Basil Brush the Puppet or something like that. Later on, it was Roland Rat. So yeah, this was the period that Philip Hinchcliffe was in charge of. Now, I suppose I will show another item, so I'll just have another pregnant pause. This went down well the other day. I don't know if you've seen it, Sonny. Garbage, he's in our thread, as you know. Garbage Who, check out his channel. He does the AI. And Tomb of the Hoopets.
You think the Cybermen will help you?
I shall be their resurrector. Look!
The leader, the controller, Jamie.
We need your power.
You belong to us. Release the Cybermans and activate them.
There you go, a different time. Oh, when Doctor Who was fun. So this segment, Sonny, is Philip Hinchcliffe when it went too far. When Doctor Who went too far. Now, if nobody's seen the article from that era that you saw, in which story do you think he thinks he went too far? I'll just show you again. And I know you haven't seen them all, but if you wanted a little quick guess, and everybody in the thread, if you don't know the answer, which one do you think he's going to blame for going too far? Because he does. He self-criticizes. I mean, Deadly Assassin got a complaint. I remember that.
That's what I was gonna lean towards.
Yeah.
Or from how you was hyping up Seeds of Doom, but that seems a little too obvious to me. I was gonna lean towards Deadly Assassin out of anything on this list. I couldn't imagine anything because I seen the first 3 episodes. I couldn't imagine him doing anything worth like banning or self.
This is what's weird. I was a kid. I was just eating it up. No nightmares. I was just eating it up. TARDIS Travels. Jeremy says, "Is it Seeds of Doom?" AFJ Kerno says, "Is it Deadly Assassin?" Well, it did get complaints. Stephen Braddock equally thinks, "Is it Seeds of Doom?" Farsight thinks, "Is it Deadly Assassin?" Talons of Wen Cheyenne, we know later on. Stephen O'Neill says, "Brain of Morbius."
Morbius. So I was gonna say, I guess thinking about Brain of Morbius, he ended up killing that guy, right? Like I don't know. It wasn't a really like pro everyone live, the doctor saves everyone type of story.
Well, here you go. I'll show you to put everyone out of their misery. So, Doctor Who producer reveals which grotesque story might have pushed things too far. I would have liked to have pulled that back a bit. So, you've locked in your answers. First of all, it just the usual. It
Oh,
just bigs it up because obviously we're talking about the season 13 coming up. Anyway, this is what he says. I sympathise with Mary Whitehouse's aims because I think sometimes that the BBC can be rather arrogant and not actually listen to the viewers. Nothing's changed. What I think she got wrong was muddling up violence, which we didn't really have, with horror and suspense. And Hinchcliffe then said that he and Robert Holmes were designing their Doctor Who for clever. Oh, do you know what? Look at that answer. For clever 12 to 13-year-olds. RTD, I think he said we're after amoebas and people who haven't been born yet, you know. I mean, honestly,
they're
yeah.
after literal
What was it? We're
babies.
making Doctor Who for premature children and amoebas. I mean, clever 12 to 13-year-olds. He hasn't said that. He says
Exist.
8.
They're literally aiming for younger than that, which is kind of crazy for a show like this. But there's a market for that exists. I like Gravity Falls, which is for clever 12 and 13-year-olds.
Notice,
It's not exact like Doctor Who, but
notice the adjective though. RTD doesn't say we're aiming for clever 8-year-olds. He just says we're aiming for
no.
8-year-olds. Anyone who's lost and stuck in a cupboard and everyone hates them because of they're on the LGBT spectrum. Our show will make you feel like, yeah, I'm still crap. Meanwhile, Philip Hinchcliffe says, stuff all that crap. It was a different era. Clever 12 to 13-year-olds. If I grab them and entertain them, we are, making it.
They respected their audience of any age, and they were actually intentional
Yeah.
with their planning and
Because
storytelling.
science fiction is one of the cleverest genres. It's one of those genres that certain people can't deal with because it challenges the brain. Clever. 12 to 13.
Like people will get lost in the plot, and they'll be like, "Well, I just don't understand it."
So he says here, Whitehouse memorably suggests that another story from Hinchcliffe's tenure, The Brain of Morbius, contains some of the sickest and most horrific material seen on children's TV.
I don't
The
agree with
trouble
that.
is, she says children's TV, but it was on at 6:25, sometimes a bit later. It's on Saturday night. I mean, children, as in little children, will be in bed.
Saturday.
The ones who
Yeah.
want to dare and stay up in their pajamas to just see if they can cope with it, we're just locked in position on the settee.
But they're trying to call like 15-year-olds children. They're trying to call 17-year-olds children. So like it kind of, I feel like in a lot of people's minds that is skewed, which is like, well, they're teenagers. They'll handle higher forms of media like Doctor Who that involves sprinkles in a little
But
bit of politics.
don't you think the world is infantilized now, though? I mean, we talk about clever 12 to 13-year-olds, showing them body horror, and it was fun. I'm sorry, it was just fun and great entertainment. Now it's like safe spaces, triggers. Why make a CBeebies Doctor Who for little kids? Make the proper show good and accessible for every age group. Don't splinter us off. I think the game's
because
up.
that takes more effort. That takes more effort, Brendan, and then I'm gonna have to talk to somebody smarter than me who writes a better script than me, and then I might have to pay them more because nowadays they're fighting for their paychecks, and it's a tough balance between making money and making Doctor Who. I get it.
So
I got my broom out.
So as far as that says here, it was the freeze frame Whitehouse objected to. It was the drowning scene in Deadly Assassin that she complained of there. But this is what Philip Hinchcliffe says. Looking back, Hinchcliffe admitted. Do you know what? I'm dying to know if RTD does this one day. Does RTD says, look, I admit, when I look back, Space Babies was a little bit naff. When I look back, those people,
I hate it when you say it like that. like I really had to think about this. It took me 2 seasons and a year.
And you know what? I've had to think about 73 yards. And when everybody asks me, why does the woman scream? Why does everyone scream when I talk to the woman? I still don't know. Yeah, I know. Looking back, Hinchcliffe admitted that The Brain of Morbius was perhaps the one time where his era might have pushed things too far. I was always a bit nervous about The Brain of Morbius because it was a bit sort of grotesque in a way. I think I would have liked to have pulled that back a bit. Otherwise, I think we pretty much got it right. Philip Hinchcliffe, good on you to be self-critical. That's it's a decent trait to have. I'm always kind of bloody slagging myself off because, you know, there's always something better you can do. But I'm sorry, Philip Hinchcliffe, I'm not letting you do this one because I'm sorry, there's nothing wrong with your era at all. An RTD would have to just polish your shoes compared to this.
Brendan got his broom
Yeah.
out and he's handing it to RTD. He said, "You should sweep this, man."
Yeah, I mean, he says it was. Look, he's been as honest as he can be. He thinks it's a bit grotesque.
Yeah.
Brain of Morbius, I loved at the time. I loved it. When Sarah pulls back that sheet and she sees this Frankenstein monster, whoa!
Yeah, yeah.
And when Sarah Jane was made blind, that was a hell of a plot device. And the
Yeah, that was cool. That's how I felt during the 12th Doctor era when he went blind, by the way. That's what I was trying to preach about that era. I was just the same concept. But you know, yeah, I get that. I was watching it in the morning. I think it was airing at like 12 p.m. for me. So so I didn't get that late night feel. But I could see that after week,
yeah,
and
I can credit you what you're saying about Capaldi. I think any of your characters that you like going blind in a program. I remember there was the girl in Little House on the Prairie went blind as well. Blind seems to be a thing, but making
well, it was just it's just a very physical limitation that not everybody experience. And you know, it comes out of nowhere sometimes. And if it happens to a character that you're actually attached to, you're like, this is a life-changing event for this person. So it's good to watch. It's good to watch.
Didn't Sarah Jane Smith fall down the stairs? Yeah,
something like that.
I mean, she was blind. She heard Morbius's brilliant voice booming around. She falls down the stairs, and then mind you, it was dangerous for him that she was blind because she was going to knock over the goldfish bowl. It was like, whoa.
She was trying to escape. Yeah. I had my heart racing a little bit when she had her hand on the thing, and she had to like keep it going every whatever, but she was also blind, so she just had to count.
You see, even the butchered, there was a butchered, censored VHS copy of Brain of Morbius that we had to buy first. Does everyone remember that? And oh, it was so heavily butchered. But you see, even that version, when you saw the Fourth Doctor dematerializing because the Sisters of Karma were transporting him to their place, it was just, there was so much going on. So much going on. Now, the grotesquerie, William Orlock here says, Morbius is glorious grotesquerie. I think it's fabulous. Even the beheading at the beginning, the mutt, and then the arm. But, they created the legend of Morbius in such a clever way when that Maren, God, she's a rough old booter, isn't she? You know, whoa, I remember Morbius. I loved all that. Do you know what? What an enjoyable story. And then the battle. I know this bloody lined us up for timeless children idiocy, but the battle between Morbius and the Doctor, Chop Suey, the Galactic Emperor, and I'm going to make him go blow a fuse. I mean, Philip, that's a brilliant story.
I thought that was kind of lame, but I was like, how else are we gonna end the story? I guess, but I don't know. I wasn't mad to be there.
I mean, you've got Philip Maddock. You've got a walking goldfish bowl. You've got witches. I mean, it's all happening.
What else do you need? The goldfish bowl, the body. I thought it was stupid, but like it's stupid with a charm, and the story helps, right? Because I'm invested, and I'm like, yeah, hey, let's see him defeat this guy. And the crab hand is cool.
So yeah, everybody, Philip Hinchcliffe, bless him, he's allowed, I suppose, is looking at the one. I will say the strongest era in Doctor Who for consistency as well, and scaring kids, doing what it should do. And he thinks this maybe went a bit too far. And I'm thinking, mate, you're just basically saying it wasn't pitch perfect. I even liked, honestly, Sonny, I was there at the time, the shooting of his, I've forgotten the name of his blooming butler bloke, but you know, Kondo. When he shot him and you saw the blood, I loved it. Kids love it. Boys love it. This is a load of twaddle, this, you know.
I think he's getting soft in his old age type of thing. I think that's kind of what's creeping in. But also, Brendan, you got a different sense of fun, man.
I'm a sicko.
Yeah.
I'm a sicko. You can tell from everything I like and make.
You feeling better now, dear?
There's nothing quite like tea and crumpets, is there? I really must be going now.
Oh, we couldn't possibly let you. No, we can't tell them.
We would like you to stay for a very long time.
If we don't imagine you ever leaving at all.
You are joking, aren't you?
We don't see this as a matter for humour, Mel, dear. We mean every word. It is much better not to struggle too much. Needless distress.
Oh dear, what a way to go. So yes, so now you know, I happen to have and remember my source. I contacted him today, and he thought that story about Shooty being banned is a load of twaddle. So you can save yourselves from watching that, everybody. But basically, obviously, I'm very lucky. I'm privileged to have the source, and the source did talk about Darker Doctor Who. But let's just kind of remind ourselves of how well networked Uncle Brendan is.
What is it? What do you want?
Take this, read it, and meet my boss at the wit's end. You must seek and locate and destroy the source. He is causing an imbalance in the media. He's giving too much away.
He must be found. Must, you hear?
It must be secured at once.
I have sent many agents to seek and locate the source to the far corners of the globe. Looking, searching. They were the top Who-Pet agents. None of them secured the source. And many agents have failed. And failure I do not tolerate. Failure means you are tortured, microwaved, atomized, spun, drawn, and ironed. I do not countenance failure.
Relinquish the source and die!
You still do not know me.
Soon you will know me. Soon.
So, Sophie, it's just a question that everybody's asking. Are you the source?
HP or tomato?
Good question.
There you go. So the source has been speaking.
Delicious sauce.
So, just to link with our debate, so basically the source said, I'm going to be honest, I don't think the BBC have got the political stomach with the pressure they've got from the government on the licence fee to put scary aliens jumping out at children on Saturday night at 6 o'clock or even 7 o'clock. I think, unfortunately, that train has long gone, and I don't know. I think if it came back, it would have to be on much later, like it was during the Capaldi years. Now, should that happen? You see, you can see Philip Hinchcliffe, aged 80, talking about his own era, saying, did we go a bit too far with Brain of Morbius? Did we go a bit too far there? Everybody seems to be aware. Sonny, when you were brought up and when you were a kid, what TV scared you?
What TV scared me? Movies scared me. TV. I think like TV movies, I guess, that would come on year round. Grotesque cartoons kind of scared me, I guess. More like Billy and Mandy would do some gross out humor, which involves like the Grim Reaper and killing people as a cartoon. and so that would get me sometimes because they just do like quick gross out humor. Maybe something like Ren and Stimpy. Maybe I was a wee kid, I think. But it's mainly like grotesque.
Do you think,
humor.
Sonny and Thread, that actually we should be trying to scare the kids on TV?
I don't think it could hurt. I got scared a lot in like mystery shows. I guess like a good mystery can scare me too sometimes. It just depends. I think it helps build character. I thought it was kind of crazy for him to say political stomach just to scare people on TV. That's kind of crazy.
Doesn't it? Isn't this the essence of being a child, though? You know, you're scared of the wallpaper in your bedroom when you're in the bed because you think it's moving and the shapes. You think there's something under the bed. Stephen Moffat actually tapped into that. I know he had kids, and you know the crack in the wall. He really did work out what kids are scared of. Isn't that good? It fires up the imagination. It makes you resilient. Yes, I sometimes balls it up. I made a mistake when I was 3. Sea Devils was on and I couldn't go to the toilet. So I had to ask for the potty to be wheeled out in front of the telly. So I was crapping my way through Sea Devils. I know. I'm sorry. I failed on my resilience level then. But
I guess I will say, I guess I did grow up different because my mom was the type of person to be like, well, I don't want you to watch these type of things because I don't want to deal with nightmares, right? She doesn't want me to have nightmares. But it's not like I didn't get scared of things that was under the bed, right? And you know, you just deal with it differently, I guess. So
well, there's a few interesting ones here. I know that it'll be cultural a bit. Graham said Sapphire and Steel was scary back in the day for me, alongside Who, of course. Now, Sapphire and Steel was on ITV, Sonny, you see, with the gorgeous Joanna Lumley and David McCallum. You've also got Paul Richards. When I was a child, Salem, this is Stephen King, of course. Salem's Lot scared the living crap out of me. I know the bit. Tapping at the window, the girl. Tap, tap, tap. You're in bed, Sonny, and there's a vampire at the window. Just keep your window shut. Sweat it out.
That's to me.
AFJ Kerno, psychological scares like Children of the Stones. Oh, that was a great drama in Britain. And Sapphire and Steel. Yes, I think that's what kids talk about in the playground. I saw when I was... Oh, yeah, sorry. Sorry, alert, because I know not everybody knows, but when I used to be a teacher... Did you know? I'm Brendan Noble, former teacher.
Yes, we know who you are.
Hello.
Doctor, wouldn't mind cloning you. Typical sense fear. Sorry, yeah, as I was saying, revelation time. But the kids, you could hear them. These are teenagers, by the way, hardened teenagers, and they would be saying, "Did you see that?" They'd be talking about the gore in a computer game. They'd be talking about all that stuff. And I thought nothing's changed. Actually, nothing's changed. All you've got is Pillocks running the BBC, Pillocks running TV, Pillocks running everything, saying, trigger, safe space, this. No, no, no. You don't need any of that. Face it out.
That's fair. It should be. It comes with the territory. Like, I wasn't talking about just scary things. Like, we talked about comedy things, different TV show plot lines.
Hold on. Hold on, Sonny. It's gone a little bit funny. I'll talk over you for a second while it just comes back. It's gone a little bit weird. See if you... Oh, it looks as though you've gone. You go and come back, and I'll just talk to the thread for a second, because we're doing scares, and scares is always good. Tomboy Chick, yes, Threads is the only thing that was ever given. Well, I know that was the nuclear war one, wasn't it? It was Armageddon in Britain, wasn't it? It was awful. That it was so scary. Stephen Braddock, it was the changes for me. I don't know. I have to check that one out. Zero Room in Canada. Let's have a look. I'll just get Sonny back on. I remember being at the bus stop.
Yeah, scary.
Yeah, and then did you see Doctor Who last night? I felt so sad for them when they said we're not allowed to watch Doctor Who. It's a rite of passage. Me sitting on that potty when I was old enough to go in a dark hallway to the loo. It's a moment. Marie, lovely of you to be so generous. And the Hoopettes will thank you in a minute. I love the Demon Headmaster. Did you get that in America, Demon Headmaster?
I was gonna say Goosebumps. I couldn't really get into Goosebumps. I just couldn't get into it. I tried to as a kid, but I couldn't get into it.
I remember the books in the classroom because I had my own library. The Demon Headmaster, all the kids. I mean, you're going back a few years, but when I was getting all the kids at aged 11 coming through to the secondary school, they were all mad. They all said, "Oh, the Demon Headmaster." Oh, you know, they all seemed to like it. It seemed to be of an era. Thanks for that, Marie. And I think my puppets will do it better. Yeah, they were killed later at Niagara, you know. Julie, you see, have you noticed this? Sapphire and Steel is getting big votes here. One of the scariest programs on TV. Now, Jamie loves it. I think I need to watch it, don't I? But I loved it, and it came back week after week. Not sure if I ever understood some of it, just knew it was deep, baby.
There's something good here.
Daryl Joyce, who I'm going to get on the cliffhangers soon. Daryl, I've just got to do all the editing and stuff, you know what I mean? The BBC can't do it. They've tied themselves up in issues that make creativity completely compromised. Put a different version of Doctor Who on at 9 p.m. via a company that knows that scares sell. If that's the case, if they've, I agree, Daryl, if they're obsessed with, you know, all these policies and safe spaces, my safe space was the potty. I mean, that's it. Basically. You know, my safe space is that potty. You're going to stop anybody from putting anything on at 6:25, 6:50. So yeah, you'll have to raise the bar. It's, mind you, it is stupid now if you think about it. Kids are watching everything in the bedroom, so you know there's no safe space anywhere, really, is there? Yeah. They can pretend they are. It's just, that's the farce of it, really, isn't it? All this safe space nonsense, but the kids are all on their iPhones and nobody's checking.
Well, they just want them to come to them for the safe space, right? Listen to me. That's all they want.
You Americans normally think this is Britain being very nanny state, being over the top, you know.
Yeah, and, like, you guys just want to control people, tell them what to do.
Well, yeah, thank you.
I want you to watch what I want.
Welcome to 2025.
Oh, no.
Our sci-fi dystopia, Wyoming, United Kingdom. Julie Coonan. Brendan, it was dark and I loved being scared. Would love to rewatch it. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to check out this Sapphire again.
I don't know. I don't relate to like love being scared, but I love Doctor Who. I like all the stories, and even when it scares me, it's not like now I hate Doctor Who. It's just another aspect. It's part of the baggage of watching Doctor Who.
Do you know you're making some funny remarks tonight? Baggage,
yeah. When I gotta look at these cheap costumes, and when I gotta hear Perry complain about another flower, or Belinda yap at me, like all of these women yapping at me, or Donna complaining about something. It's constant. Like there's a bunch of baggage to watching Doctor Who, but I love it.
Baggage. So changes and Salem's Lot were great, says Paul Thomas Ashworth. Thank you very much, kind sir. I wonder how the Who pets are going to thank you. I sometimes wonder myself. Let's have a look. Here we go. Ah, there you go. Thank you very much, Paul. So, darker Doctor Who doesn't sound as though it's going to be a possibility. So, what did Mark Gatiss say about Philip Hinchcliffe recently? And there's that brilliant Brain of Morbius. Because it was when I did the show and he said, we're in a mess and nostalgia is a weaponized beast. But he did also say some positive stuff. Here we go. I always look back at those first 3 Tom Baker years under Philip Hinchcliffe and Robert Holmes, and the fact that the Daleks and the Cybermen scripts were an inheritance. I mean, whoa! The Daleks they did something extraordinary with, one of the greatest stories in the show, but after that, new stuff, and one after another. The Rirren, the Zygons, Morbius, the Crinoids. Do you know what? It was a consistent era, and on top of that, Sonny, we had a great array of new villains and new monsters. This was peak scare, this was peak consistency, peak storyline, peak monsters. Honestly, that's why I call it the golden era.
They didn't lean on what came before it. They might have sprinkled it in, right, and enhanced it to continue the plot or whatever, but they stayed creative. They built their own monsters and their own legends and and stories, which was promised in the recent series, but he ended up just leading back on older tropes and older monsters, which is mind-boggling.
Yeah, be brave. I mean, your mic's making a funny little sound here, but just check on. It's kind of it sounds like gravel at the moment. Zero Room. It's ironic that the BBC lowered the bar for scares on TV, and yet almost every kid has access to several streams. Exactly, Brian. Exactly. I think they go to bed at night, the producers going, we've done the right thing, and I'm a good person now. Meanwhile, all the kids are in bedrooms going, look at this. So in other
They're
words,
not
just put it
watching.
on telly. Yeah.
Right. No, they're just not watching. They think they're protecting people, I guess, like they're protecting the children in some way, but they're just not watching. So like now you have no input at all when you could scare them. You could give us some quality. So
I think they are protecting the kids by giving us crap telly so nobody watches.
Now we can hear their ideas.
Yeah. So David Harding, good to see you in Toronto. It was a great era for quality documentary. Oh, here. Yeah. Terrified Monk, who said he was in America watching classic, who reminds me of watching a theatre production. If you use a little imagination on the whole thing, it is amazing. And then we've got a new name there, which I hadn't seen, The Forgotten Melody. It's like Nightmare Child, Shadow Proclamation. Mad Dog episode of Survivors was pretty scary. Survivors, 70s version. Ooh, that was Terry Nation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Julie Coonan. I don't remember that one. Rings a vague bell. Julie, I think we're talking about Survivors, but check it out. Check it out. Although I need to check out Sapphire and Steel, of course. Yes, camping out was a fave of mine. All night next to the beach, pitch black, listening to the sound of waves, the howling wind, and I loved rain. Or, Jess, you want to have gone backpacking with me in Australia when dingoes surround your tent on the beach because they can smell your ginger biscuits in your haversack, which you shouldn't have had. It's like
I'm out. He said dingoes, I'm out. Why are we camping?
Look at that, Canadians, you have whatchamacallit, you have bears. And apart from the Zygons, says Mark Gatiss, who only came back initially for the 50th anniversary, they were left untouched because they don't need a sequel. The desire is always to create new. The problem is trying to think of something anywhere near as good. Well, yeah, that is a problem, but that's your creative problem, isn't it?
Right.
Philip Hinchcliffe can actually go to bed at night knowing that his era was consistent, exciting, entertaining, scary, triggering. It was childhood nightmares and fun at the same time.
That's also a self-inflicted problem that you shouldn't look at it that way from a creative standpoint, because I guess comparison is the thief of joy in some way. That's true, but it's like, yeah, you just want to create your stuff, and then eventually through time it will be seen as good or as worse as not. You don't want to try to be like, well, I can't do it as well as them, so I'm just not going to do it the right way. It's like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and it's been a coward. It's been a creative coward. RTD thought we'll have it a safe space. It's for all the wounded mental health issues. That's what we make Doctor Who now, and it's only 8-year-olds. And it says, no, stop it, and we'll have an emotionally wounded doctor. And, you know, come on, back up. Now your microphone's making crazy noises, but we've come to the end of our little chat. But it really is. Sorry, folks. Well, technicalities here.
That's secrets to unlock. Clever boy.
Right, just to sort that one out. So, Sonny, we've gone around the houses there. We've seen a few little bits and bobs, but we've been talking about the Tom Baker years. So, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just give you a bit of the Tom Baker years. Yeah.
Sure.
What are we checking for exactly? Just to make sure that everything's in order. Sarah Jane. We can't help her now. She'll be like that for 3,000 years at least. It's doubtful that we could revive her now. What would a resuscitation unit look like?
Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
That's up there. That was one of the first cliffhangers I thought of when you was like, start thinking of cliffhangers. I was like, Ark in Space was pretty standard. That's the bare minimum in my opinion.
Or this is another element of good old Philip Hinchcliffe. Here we go.
Yeah, put those prop effects to work. Those prop people, put them all to work. The costume people, yup, put them to work. I like the body horror though.
That's what you need. Your mic's just starting to really go really weird. I'll just mute you for a second and I'll bring you in, obviously. Wait. Stephen, the Graham Williams era is as good as well. Yes, I'm not knocking it. And you know we'll do deep dives on that era. William, those clunkers still a bit more entertaining than what we've been getting. I know, we're unhappy people, really, at the moment. Terrified Monk, honestly, Space Babies is the scariest thing I've seen in New Who. It just looks so unnatural. And who would think of such rubbish to write? Who would dare? David Harding, The Ark in Space is such a great story and it looked expensive too. And isn't it amazing when you just hear that Tom Baker voice? I mean, oh my God, it's worth it. Graham, I so need to get my cliffhangers email. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And Sonny's been having the same problem thinking about it. It's made it a problem for him.
That's true. It's a big problem.
Well, it just so happens your mic is just starting to go at the end. But it's all right. We've got there. Thank you, everybody, for tonight. Look out for us again. But I thought we'll have a nice chat about Philip Hinchcliffe. Sonny, thank you. Do you want to give a shout out to your channel?
Oh yeah. Sunny Waffles, SWP. You can find me on YouTube. Recently I've been doing some live streaming, playing my new favorite game, Sonic Crossworlds, and also talking about a little bit of Doctor Who, a little bit of like other people on the internet, locale. I recently got a video that hit like 1,000, couple hundred video views. Just talking about locale. People liked it. So yeah, come by, say hi.
Well, enjoy. Don't move that mic. It's making here we go. So good night, everybody. See you again. Bye.